Hi, I'm Vittorio Linfante, Art Director and Professor of Meta Design for Fashion and Branding at the School of Design of Politecnico di Milano. In the previous lectures, you have learned the first information about the concept of branding and brand identity. In this lesson, you will be introduced to some concepts related to the type of market segments of fashion industry based on price positioning and market diffusion, the type of target based on buying behavior and habits, a brief overview of the elements that form the basis of fashion branding. The first element to consider to define a correct branding strategy is the understanding of the market and the business models to which a company refers. Within the fashion system, we can identify different types of companies according to the product production typology, from artisan to industrialized product, the size of the market, and last but not least, the price range. Starting from these criteria, we can define 5 levels of market segmentation, represented through the fashion pyramid that identifies the following segments: high fashion luxury brands, ready-to-wear designer brands, diffusion designer brands, bridge brands and premium brands, mass market brands. Let's analyze them in details. High fashion brands are those brands representing the highest segment of the fashion market. Brands and companies within this segment define themselves as high fashion because of the extremely high price range, over 20,000 euros per garment. They refer to a small and exclusive number of customers, and they create a made-to-measure collection, made with excellent tailoring, craftsmanship, meticulous research of materials, and formal creativity. Among the brands that today still present haute couture collection, we can mention Valentino, Dior, Chanel, and Martin Margiela. The second level refers to ready-to-wear brands. This market segment is the result of Italian creativity which in 1970s defined a new design approach by combining the creativity of haute couture tailors with the dynamism of the emerging Italian fashion industry. From the point of view of price, it is positioned below haute couture while maintaining a relatively high price level, defining a market that we could describe as an accessible luxury. The collection of these brands, although industrialized, are characterized by a great formal, material and volume construction research, therefore by great creativity and innovative research. Brands like Prada, Giorgio Armani and Gucci can represent the different forms of this market segment. Diffusion designer brand is the third level of market segmentation. Usually, for diffusion line, we intend those brands that address a younger audience with more affordable prices than ready-to-wear lines, but always positioned in a high market price range for the end customer. For a company, the benefit of creating a diffusion line consists of increasing brand recognition and increasing the company's growth to a cost-effective strategy. The companies that define this market segment are usually associated with the second lines of ready-to-wear brands, such as Emporio Armani, C by Chloé, Love Moschino, or Red Valentino. The pyramid's second to last level is occupied by brands called premium or bridge. They are defined in this way because they represent the link between the luxury segment and the more economical segment. These brands are characterized by the fact that they intend to give consumer augmented value for money by delivering a high level of quality and design than in the mainstream market. Brands like Max Mara, Tory Burch, and Acne Studio represent very well the different phase of this market segment. The lowest level of the fashion market is represented by mass market and value brands. The brands in this segment represent the base of the pyramid, and they are defined as fast fashion. These companies and brands are characterized by a quick and efficient product development with a good network of suppliers and well-structured logistics, able to provide a widespread distribution of point of sale. Another feature of the brand in this segment is the attention paid to identifying the latest trend and fashion and style. To this type of companies correspond brands such as H&M and Zara. In addition to the type of companies, some macro groups of market segmentation should be identified according to the attitude of the final customer. In this perspective, we can define a second pyramid and we can identify the following categories: pioneers, opinion leaders, innovators, followers, fashion victims, passives, mass audience, latecomers. By pioneers, we mean the type of customer who is always looking for differentiation and anticipating fashions. By opinion leaders, we refer to the type of audience that enjoys prestige from a broad audience, such as actors, singers, artists. By innovators, we mean the type of audience that define their style based on a precise choice of personal taste and not on an association with a particular brand. By followers, we refer to the type of audience that follows the pioneers or opinion leader after the market has perceived a specific trend. By fashion victims, we mean the type of audience that passively accept fashion trends. By passives, we refer to the type of public that is influenced by market proposal. By mass audience, we mean those who accept fashion trends when they are mature and have reached the mass market. Finally, by latecomers, we mean those who choose a product or follow a trend when it has been taken up by the market and it is already in a downward phase, both of interest from the mainstream public. In general, it should be considered that each brand needs to define, consistently with its market positioning and its target audience, some action that can define brand identity and contribute to the creation of a brand awareness, the brand awareness in the customer mind. Action that define different communication and branding strategies, which we will see in the following lectures, and that involve various aspects. The stylistic identity of the product through the definition of permanent stylistic codes, the description of different types of communication tools, both direct and indirect strategies, both online and offline. And through different tools of customer involvement, such as the creation of a correct and coherent visual identity, an effective advertising language, a correct retail strategy, both online and offline, an efficient communication action through institutional or corporate online channels, through alternative communication channels such as fashion films, events, and exhibition. To summarize, during this lesson we have defined the different levels of market segmentation, the different types of audience according to their purchasing behavior, and the available ingredients for the construction of a correct brand awareness.